Well, folks, here we are. The premiere is over, and I see we have one person with us so far, but I'm sure that number will climb any second. We have Donna with us here. Now we're up to 4, just like that. Boom. So, hi, folks. I hope the ones that are joining us just saw the premiere. We have Donna Watson with us, who is the storyteller in the premiere, and we're gonna switch over, and hopefully I'll do this right. I'm gonna switch over to the screen that has both Donna and I, and then there's gonna be a little thumbnail of me down in the corner, and I just don't know how to fix that. So, got to live with it. So here all right, and here's Donna. Hello, Mary. Hello, Candace. I remember you, Candace, and I remember Mary. Lee, thank you for joining us. Okay, Marianne Hope says, I am so sorry, Donna. Amy says, hi, Glenn. Hi, Amy. If I didn't get that, but I don't know. How do I? Is there any way I can turn that little thing off right down there? I guess not. Deanna Humphrey, hi. Thanks for joining us. Karma asks, hello, Donna. How do you deal with your frustrations and disappointment and how your son was treated by law enforcement and medical professionals?
It's a hard one. I pray a lot. I hit my knees a lot. I'm fighting it, and I'm trying to fight for other families because it's still going on. I still actually have people that are going through the same thing my son went through, and they call me and ask me for advice. Of course, I couldn't help my son. I'm trying to change the law by going into the General Assembly. I have a Troy bill trying to get passed. It's basically a guideline for informants. And the basically says if they're on probation or if they are a pretrial detainee, and that just means if they are in trouble in any of the courts, they cannot be a confidential informant. That's first and foremost. But more importantly, if your child is struggling and they are using and they are violating their own probation, then they cannot be an informant because it violates the probation rules they were put on as well as the court rules. And believe it or not, that's a guideline that they go after, but they didn't follow that. So I'm stressed out all the time. I keep going 24/7. I keep my mind busy trying to get some law passed and trying to get justice for my son. That's what I'm doing.
Good job. All right, so next question. Let me see where I'm at. I'm glad. All right. Wow. All right. Enough's enough. Bye. So let's see. Hello, Donna. Do you deal with your first? Okay, that one. Someone. See. Okay, folks. Let me share this with you. Donna cannot see the comments, so I'm reading the comments and she'll reply to them. I just want to let you guys know that, so don't get going too quick here. So I can't believe how the police were so rude and careless. Again, I'm so sorry about all that happened. Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Powerful
Thank you.
story. No justice, no peace. Did they ever catch the guy they wanted? Okay, that's a good one because she's asking about there's this person, Marianne, no, Kimberly, is asking about the guy they were trying to catch during the informant stuff. Do you know any? You do know something about that, if I remember right.
I do. I do. I know who he is. And you can't even imagine how much strength it's taken me not to do something. But I'm trying to make a positive difference. I don't want to be as ugly as the people that have been ugly to me. So, yeah, they have never charged him with anything. I know who it is. It actually, the guy was in my son's third grade class, believe it or not. How weird is that? Um, but I do know other people that have worked for the police that have also bought from this dealer and no charges were ever done. And my son told me during this 3 month span that he was forced to be an informant that, and this is just what my son told me, um, that the guy, the dealer, told my son that he would never be caught because a couple of the local police work and get money from this dealer. They go by every couple of weeks, pick up money, and the evidence goes away. So when I did a FOIA request asking for, and FOIA is Freedom of Information, asking for the buys and the things that my son did, they told me that the cameras weren't working. Now, my son did over 13 buys. So you're telling me you sent my son out there to risk his life over 13 times and that camera didn't work not one time? Come on. You got to be real. No way. The evidence is gone. That they have no evidence and they've never charged the boy with anything. I actually looked him up, and in 2016 he was charged with a marijuana possession that was later on null prost, or as people would say, the judge dropped it. So no, he's never been in trouble.
All right. So Marianne Hope says, you're amazing, Donna. Your son is so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Marianne. It makes me cry. I cry enough, Marianne. Stop. But I'm trying to make my son proud, but I'm also trying to stop another family from going through what I'm going through and what I will go through until I take my last breath. But thank you.
Dawn says, I'm so sorry for your loss and sorry for the treatment you've encountered since your son's passing.
Again, thank you so much. It really means a lot that y'all sat here and listened. I'm long-winded. At least Glenn tells me that. I'm long-winded, and I appreciate you sitting and listening to it. It really means a lot to me because, believe it or not, when someone loses their loved one, they want people to talk about them. They don't want anyone to forget them. They want them brought up, and it's important to me that people knew my son and how wonderful he was. And thank you.
Yes, I hear that a lot about how parents who lose someone do want to talk about their loved one. I hear that from the parents that I meet, and they talk about how there's people around them sometimes who don't know how to approach the topic. They're afraid to, and
Yeah.
and the storytellers that I met say no, talk about them all the time.
Yeah,
100%.
we want to hear the
I agree,
stories.
Marianne. Yeah.
Especially if you knew them. We want to hear some cool things that my son did or something funny they remember about him. Just trying to keep his memory alive, because I'm living with this the rest of my life. I love to hear stories of my son. Love it.
Pink says thank you thank you also for wow. Okay, thank you for also honoring your son. Never give up. You have an army of support behind you.
Thank you, Pink. First of all, I love your name.
There's a small army right here. Marianne Hope says, I wish I'd known him. That's a wonderful thought.
That is wonderful. I wish you had known him too. I do. And I appreciate all the positive comments.
Yeah. So what else? I know that Donna's not at a loss for words, but if you guys got questions. You were telling me earlier, Donna, about the some of the other things that was going on with the police department, and and how the this police department gets in trouble kind of regularly. Is that
Oh, well, so this is a local police department, and um, I wasn't born here in this town. I was born in North Carolina, whew, but I was raised in this town, and um, since I can remember, I can't count how many times this department has needed help, or not needed it, has gotten help because it was out of hand of things that were happening in this town. Um, where they've come in evidence room, things are missing. Oh my gosh, scandal after scandal after scandal. All you have to do is Google it. It's there. There's so many, and I don't know what the problem is. Whether it's a good old boy system, I don't know. I mean, but everyone deserves justice, but they also have to have common sense. And I don't know what the solution is. They've tried to fix it a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, 4 dozen times.
uh, Mary? Mary, how'd you lose your son, Mary? Mary Miles is one of the people in the chat here, and she said people are afraid to bring them up. I want to hear more about my son, so I know how you feel.
Yes, that's
And
true.
I know that Mary told me before about losing her son. I don't remember. I don't remember the details. I do hear a lot of stories.
I bet you. Yeah.
So these Nazisms are sorry for your loss. What's the most important thing you've learned from this whole experience? Okay, now that's the kind of question that I would ask at the end of an interview. That's a good question. Most important thing you've learned from the whole experience.
Um, can it be more than one? Um,
Shocker.
yeah. Well, uh, first and foremost, love your loved one like is their last day every day, because you don't ever know when it's going to end. There's so many shoulda, coulda, wouldas that go in my head every single day that I wish I could change. I wish I had been of right frame mind and body at the funeral home to stand up and tell them to get out, but I couldn't move. I was froze, not once, but twice when they did it. I wish I could have jumped up in that hotel room and wrestled that police officer and say, "You're not doing this to my son," because I used to work in probation. I know what happens. I used to watch it all the time. There's just, oh my gosh, there's so many. But number one would be love your babies all the time. Tell them you love them 24/7. Don't ever let them leave your sight without saying it.
Very good. Mary's response to my question was that she lost her son in a car accident related to his addiction.
I'm
Kind of
sorry.
familiar.
So sorry.
Pink. I grew up in Canton, Massachusetts, where we are now having to contend with a lot of alleged police corruption, especially regarding recent Karen Reed case in Massachusetts.
Wow.
Karen Reed case in Massachusetts. Should I know what that is? Do you ring any bells?
It doesn't ring a bell for me, but I've been studying different things that happen in different states, and I might have it in one of my books that I'm trying to write about confidential informants and the new rules that they're putting for guidelines in each state. But I haven't gotten it passed here in Virginia. Maybe she's talking about a confidential informant case.
Karen Reed is accused of killing her police officer husband. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Huh.
I think I vaguely remember that. I remember seeing something like that.
Yes, Karma. It does seem. Karma says it seems like a total police cover-up.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah. No, it's tragic. So let me look back and Pat, who's one of the other storytellers from Richmond, when we were shooting stories in Richmond, I'm friends with Don on Facebook, but I never heard her story. I can't help but think that if I were officiating the funeral, the police would not have made that arrest. They would have made two arrests.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much. I know it's ridiculous. The funeral home maybe, just maybe, could have stopped the first one, but they were outside talking to the police 45 minutes prior to the funeral. So they knew what was going to happen. They are the ones that promised me a calming, peaceful, exiting funeral for my son. And I wanted everything to be perfect. I mean, I really wanted it all to be perfect. The funeral officials, when they knew about it 45 minutes prior to the funeral, should have never let them wait and
Wow.
come
Yeah.
20 minutes into the funeral. They should have said, if you're going to get that boy, get him now. The police report said they saw him coming out the car. Or better yet, the boy, after he sat his family down, the suspect, after he sat his family down, he went back outside to smoke a cigarette because he was going to be one of the speakers in the yacht and at the end of the service with my sister and a couple other friends. And believe it or not, guess who he sat across from while he was outside the funeral home smoking a cigarette? The young police officer that escorted him down the aisle with shackles and handcuffs on was across from him smoking. Now, if they really wanted this dude that bad, and he was such a threat to my funeral home or my funeral that my son was there, they would have gotten him then. This was the funeral home should be held responsible. I've never gotten I'm sorry this happened. The police never apologized. No one ever apologized. I guess they just think it's okay. It's a good old boy system. They were trying to hide something. I don't know why the funeral home didn't do something. Their website clearly says we give peaceful, calming ceremonies. There was nothing peaceful or calming about that. It's something I relive every day of my life.
Okay, let me see what we got here. Pat says he's seen so much stuff happen at funerals, but this takes the case.
Yeah. Never heard of such a thing.
It's just crazy. If they thought the guy was dangerous,
They would have taken him when he got out the car.
why wait till he's in any kind of group full of people? Crazy.
Yeah, the disrespect is unreal. I mean, no respect. If it was their child or the funeral director's child, and I'm holding on to the casket, I'm holding on to my son's casket, and they let these people come in. I mean, it would have never happened if it was one of those police officers' children in that casket.
Right? Definitely not. So here's a question from Pink. How's your family doing with having to deal with all of this, contend with all of this?
Well, I have a very large family. I have 7 sisters, 3 brothers. I think there's times when they're all of them are very empathetic. We're very close, every one of us. They're tired of seeing me hurt. They're tired of seeing me being sad. They're dealing with it, but I know they want me to stop, just let it go and move on. Well, that'll never happen. Until I take my last breath, I'm going to fight for justice for my son. Someone's going to apologize to me, and someone's going to be held accountable. And I feel sorry for him because I have another son, and I feel like I've neglected him. I try sometimes to overcompensate, but I'm just not the same person. When you lose a part of your soul, you're not the same person. I'm trying, but I just, every day I get up and make myself get out of bed, and then I start working until I fall out at nighttime.
Dee says, this is Dee's nuts. I told you about Dee's nuts.
Yes, you did.
She says, that is so sad considering all the circumstances involved, and you, ma'am, are putting your son to rest. Disgusting.
Thank you. I thought so too, but I just wish I could go back and and let them have a piece of my mind. I mean, they would have never done it. I would have just stood up and screamed at them, but I couldn't believe it was happening. I was frozen.
Having to stand up and scream at someone, that kind of screw up a funeral too.
True, true. I wanted it to be so perfect. I couldn't even give my son that.
But that's not on you.
I know, but I'm the mother, and the mothers are responsible for their children. And you have that big. I mean, that was my baby boy. I know it was their fault. I do know, but I just, you have all those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and if I could have just done that.
Yeah. So you have more going on.
Yes.
You have an ongoing case, and you have some other stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, um, I didn't know how my son had died until I got the. I didn't know for 100% sure until I got the official death certificate, and it said he died from straight fentanyl. And I'm still pulling myself together. I mean, from the funeral home to what happened to my son those last 3 months, I developed major PTSD. I mean, honestly, I didn't want to live. But I had another son and I have a grandson that I love with everything that I have. And my husband, I just couldn't function anything. And so about a year and a half after he died, I started a lawsuit, which started in the circuit courts in the area, and it kept getting thrown out. I've never to this day had a hearing, but I was in Williamsburg, Virginia one day, and I used to babysit for somebody, and he told me to take it to the federal court. So now I filed in federal court, and they had it for a year. And oh my gosh, finally I could submit all the evidence because I have black and white evidence, not just, me saying it. I have the evidence of what happened. And I just knew this was going to be it. And guess what? They threw it out again. And I was defeated. And I felt sorry for myself again for a few days. And something said, get back up. So I got back up and I appealed it to the appellate court, the Fourth Circuit in Richmond, Virginia. And they had it for like 5 months. Now this is 5.5 years. Now they're saying the statute of limitations run up, but I've been suing ever since before the statute ran out, but they're trying to say these other things, but I fight. When you have PTSD or if you have mental health problems because of what happened, they're supposed to extend the statute of limitation. It's called the discovery rule. Well, anyway, so they agreed with the earlier courts. I'm on my last appeal right now, and I appealed it again after I was turned down, and it's in the appeal process. But in the meantime, some of the judge's notes said that some of this should be heard in state court. So just last week, I decided to file on two of the parties. That would be the funeral home and the one detective that forced my son to do this. And I have all the texts from her, and the probation department. I haven't done anything with the detective yet, but I've done it with the probation and the funeral home, and filed in my local court that everybody thinks is a good old boy, local, yokel, the wonderful police department that people say that stuff is missing out of evidence room. That's the court I filed in. And I did it. And I'm waiting on a court date. So waiting on the appellate court to see whether or not they're going to let me have it in federal court. And then I filed two more different cases in the regular local circuit court in my area. So I'm not giving up. I'm fighting this until the end. I'm going to fight it like no other. I kind of feel like, I don't know. I don't know what I feel like. I'm not giving up.
Good job. Okay, let me catch up on some of these. Dee says you're not to blame. You were an amazing mother to your
Thank you.
son, and you did everything within your control. Mary says you were still in shock, Donna. I can't believe they did that to your son at your son's funeral. Arizona Families Fighting Illicit Drugs is an organization that we worked with in Phoenix to shoot more stories. Basically, uh, same kind of event as we did at the McShin Foundation with you guys.
Mhm.
And she said, I don't know what she said. Okay, here it is. Much love and comfort to you, Donna. D says, remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
Thank you.
Aphid, which is Beth Jolie, says, don't give up. And Beth is scrappy. She wouldn't give up. She would, yeah. So,
Thank you, Beth. I'm not giving up. At least not today.
Marianne Hope suggests, Donna, why don't you have a private ceremony, and this will be perfect in your memory now. You're a great mother and should be a beautiful ceremony.
Oh, thank you. I would, but I've got to get the people that did this. Need to have them to be held accountable. After it's all said and done, I would love to do that.
That would be a
I'm not
cool
too wrapped around right now.
that would be a cool finish to having everything else said and done. Is to have another memorial.
That would be,
That could be a cool finish. I could see that.
yeah, that would be cool.
We could try to make that. Pat is going to be getting us back to Virginia.
Virginia,
Sometimes they're all just running together to me now. It's just one,
that's because you travel all over the world.
yeah, a little bit. So Taskmaster says, "Dang, you are a barracuda."
Oh, well, thank you. I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It is. God bless you, he says, or she says.
Thank you.
Says. Pink says you're a warrior.
I am a warrior.
Dee says to Marianne, that's an amazing idea. The idea of
The funeral, yeah.
memorial. You go, understood. I'll watch the whole live when I'm done with my group. Beth at Arizona Families Fighting Illicit Drugs, AFID, is a counselor, and she stepped away from the group meeting for a minute, or she's got another one starting up or something, so she's leaving. Pat says a celebration of life would be wonderful for him.
Yeah, I actually tried to have one a year after he passed, but so much was going on with the police and the ruckus. It wasn't a very good turnout, and that was even more depressing. So I mean, it was fine, but people, I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to own a real estate company, and the weeks passed after the funeral event, and I had people messaging me and calling me and saying, "Hey Donna, I'm so sorry I didn't make it to your son's funeral, but I rode by there and the place was swarmed with cops, and we were scared to stop." I mean, I had so many people tell me that, and I said, "That's a shame. That's a shame." It was standing room only. They wouldn't have any place to stand, but to not be able to go to a funeral because you were scared. That
That's
this
crazy.
It's crazy. It is crazy. It was crazy.
So let me catch up here. A celebration of life. Where was I? Celebration of life would be wonderful for him. Pat said sometimes. Karma says sometimes anger helps us through very tough situations, and I hope you get the resolve and peace you deserve. Brenda says, "Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining us." Brenda says, "What have I missed? Sorry, I just realized this was going on." Brenda has been a part of quite a few of our live events and quite a few of our premieres as well, and uh, she's just joining us. So, Brenda, this is the first time we've done something with a guest. This is the storyteller from the fentanyl poisoning story that just premiered an hour or so ago. So glad you could join us.
Yes.
Okay, D's. That's what I would do too, Donna. Perfect finishing, putting good. You'll know when the time is right. Pink says you'll know when the time is right, and that sounds like a great
I
one.
will.
Uh, and Marianne Hope sends hugs to Donna and her family.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank,
here's a question, Donna. What was the process like sharing your story?
um, you know, I was hesitant at first because, there's not a day that goes by that I don't cry. And I thought, I'm not going to make it through here. But I'm not that I'm trying to give you a pat on the shoulder or something, but it was very calming. And I felt very comfortable. And you're so funny and your personality, you made me feel comfortable. I probably why I was so long winded. So basically it's your fault. I was so long winded because I felt so comfortable. Um, but yeah, I think that it had a lot to do with the setting, and it was peaceful. And I don't know what it was. It was just you made it easy. You explained it. You were detailed. Um, oh my God, what you're doing is incredible. I mean, I left out of there and I felt good about it.
See, that's as I know that some of the people in the group have asked me how I deal with hearing all of these stories, and that what Donna just said is how I deal with it. You said,
And hold on, hold that thought. The last thing that you gave me before I walked out of that room, I
mhm,
have told so many people about that. But you go ahead and tell your story first, and I'll tell you what it was.
that that thing she said about how she felt when it was over, that she felt good. I I just all the time I see the storyteller come in and we start the process and I walk them through it, and as they unload, and Donna unloaded a lot, uh, you can see them lighten up. You can see them.
It helped.
It's so awesome to me to get to see. I'm overjoyed, and then just to see that the process made them feel a little better. Maybe it didn't last very long, but it did something. And then doing when the story becomes public, it happens again.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And you're witty, and it you didn't put me on the spot or anything. You just let me get it all out.
You didn't really you went a little longer than most, but it's a complex story. You
It
didn't
is.
it never seemed like you were going longer than you needed to go. It's a complex story because there's the the, the, the informant angle and the car wreck and the dealing with the police and then the ordeal with the funeral service. All of those things that's a mess. So okay, so what was your thing about at the end when you finished?
Well, when you finished, and I hope you don't get mad at me saying this, but when I finished, I really did feel a sigh of relief, and I felt like I got it all out, and I've been really anxious about this coming out. But as I was leaving, you pulled something out of your pocket and you handed me a sleeve of something that brought back memories back when I was a kid of lifesavers, and you handed it to me in a hand, and I said, "Oh, thank you." And then you said the word lifesaver, and then I realized what you're a lifesaver. You're a lifesaver. You are actually saving lives. I mean, I really believe Texas documentaries. I mean, that you're saving lives. It's getting out there. It's helping other families. It's helping me. It you're a lifesaver. It was great. So I kept those lifesavers in my car, and I'd give one and I'd tell the story. Somebody would be in my car, I'd give one and I'd tell the story. And then I thought, this is the coolest story ever. this is this is so cool. So it just keeps going and going. And I'm sure these people are telling the story as well.
Pink says she remembers I'm assuming she, Pink, she. I could be wrong. Don't want to go down that road. Let me catch up with what we got going on here. I love it, and I just arrived. This is such a great platform from Pink. Karma says Glenn has that effect on people. Trust. Yeah, I just sit there and listen. So anyway, happy Monday, Karma. How's everyone doing? Sorry, Chiefs fans. Maybe next year. Pink says it's how I keep moving forward and help advocates for others and help advocate for others by listening to these stories, listening to the stories, sharing them on whatever social media is your thing is always great, and certainly always the thumbs up.
Yeah, keep sharing. Keep sharing. It really helps so many people. And someone like Glenn that does these, it's remarkable because if we were to do it, of course, I'm not some technical person, but it's just so professional and people share them and it's keeping my son's memory alive. But in the meantime, people that are going through it right now that haven't lost their loved one, it's helping them. It's giving them information of what they can do or where they can go or where we went wrong or what not to do. It just keeps going. It's incredible.
Well, thank you. Brenda says anger was how I got through fentanyl detox. Anger's valid, seems to me.
Absolutely. And good for you.
V says Glenn has been so wonderful to help so many.
Yes.
So I think I said something about this last time we were live. I was interviewed for a story that we did about a police officer killed by a drunk driver that was reported in the local news, and the reporter asked me, "Why do you do this?" Because we didn't charge anything for that project. I just did it because it was an important story. And I said in the interview, I said, if you have the ability and the resources to contribute, then it's sort of a sin not to.
Amen.
And so that's what I hang on to. So okay, now we're on to the Super Bowl. Wow, I'm behind. Definitely saving lives, Glenn. Marianne Hope says. Taskmaster says, you are so beautiful. I've only been here a little while, and your personality is contagious. You have a very lucky family, and yes, I'm a guy, Glenn. Okay. Don is beautiful, and yeah, okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Dee says, ladies love Glenn.
They do.
Oh, no. Okay, so do you remember when you sat down, Donna? Do you remember if did I ask you if you were nervous?
Um,
Do you remember that?
well, I was probably nervous, so I don't remember that. But yes, I do believe you asked that. Or you said don't be nervous.
Could be that a lot of times when I interview women, I'll ask, you feel nervous, and the common answer is a little bit, to which I say, yeah, I have that effect on chicks.
Yes, I remember that now. I do remember that. Yes. And see, what you did was you brought my guard down. You made me laugh. But you did that throughout the whole interview. When you saw me getting tensed up, you would make a joke like that.
These is reminding everybody to do the thumbs up thing on this live event when I guess it's when it's over. I don't know if you guys can see a thumbs up button to click on right now while you're in the chat, but or yeah,
I don't see one.
while this is going on. Yeah, I don't either. So anger is a part of the process, kind of like grief, says Dees. Yeah, anger is one of the stages of grief.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
here's the thing about the stages of grief. While we're talking about that, I've talked with several counselors and others who talk about the stages of grief, and there are. I think it's inaccurate to call them stages. It makes more sense to call them categories, because what happens is that each category is its own little bucket, and people dealing with grief jump from bucket to bucket to bucket, back and forth. They're angry, and then they're bargaining, and then they're uh, resolved, and then they're back to being angry. So there's a whole lot of bouncing around. So to calling it stages seems inaccurate to me. However, I have also heard more and more that there is a sixth stage of grief, and
hmm.
that sixth stage is purpose.
Oh,
That finding nonprofits, suing irresponsible law enforcement agencies and funeral homes and whatever, all of that is purpose, is finding purpose.
that's, I guess, the stage I'm in.
Yeah.
Finding my purpose. But I did start a foundation, by the way, a nonprofit foundation, Troy
Yes,
Hallett
that's
Foundation.
really where I was going with that. I was just trying to learn to be long-winded, you know.
I
So
can teach you well. So, yeah, so my purpose is to get justice for my son. That's first and foremost. I'm also trying to get the Troy bill passed, which is a guideline for informants. And then I started a foundation called the Troy Hallett Foundation, and the website is troyhallettfoundation.com. And on that website, I decided to put different tabs. So you can go through the different tabs on the website, and you can get help. You can see what the governor and his first lady are doing with It Only Takes One. I have that information on there. I have upcoming events on there. I'm going to I go every year, a couple times a year, to the National Religious Broadcasting Convention. And in the end of February, it's in Dallas, Texas. I have an interview with Overcomers TV, as well as an interview with um, Angel Studios, pitching a movie that they're trying to do based on my son's journal that he left. He left a journal. But the foundation, I just got it approved through the state. So it's completely a 501c3 now. And I just put it live like 4 days ago. So it's new and fresh. And I've applied, actually myself, keeping busy, which I don't stop very often. I applied for a couple grants. I haven't heard anything. Um, I'm going to get this thing going one way or another. I'm going to get something going.
very good, and we're glad to help you any way we can.
Push people to my website, share this story.
And what is the website?
TroyHallettFoundation.com. And that's TroyHowlatt, Foundation, FOUNDATION.com.
We will add the link to the description of the of Troy's story.
Awesome.
Uh,
Thank
I meant to do it. I just forgot. It happens. Tessa, that seems like a new name. Tessa says thank you for all that you're doing in honor
thank
of
you.
your son and for making a difference for the better. I sadly lost my son last March, so I'm rooting for you.
I'm sorry, Tessa. Sorry about your son, and thank you so much.
Tessa, there's a lot of great organizations and networks of support that are out there that can help you if you haven't seen them. It ought to be a simple Google search. You're also welcome to email us, and we can help you. Uh,
Contact me. I'll help you.
you can you can email me at info@texas-pictures.com. Info, I'm typing here at Texas, and uh, because of the way this because of the way this live event is set up, Donna can't see the chat. That's why I keep reading questions. Wow. Okay, Karma. Yeah, doing a national event. That'd be kind of awesome, wouldn't it?
It would be so cool.
Doing a Texas Pictures national event.
I know, exactly.
Bringing Storyteller. So, gee, Karma, where would we do that?
At one of the gaylords
Vegas,
across America.
Branson,
Florida. Near Disney World. So after the Texas Pictures, at nighttime we could go to Disney World.
Yeah.
And stay at the Gaylord right there in Miami.
Okay, you just got it all sorted out. I haven't thought about a national event, but I've thought about having an event somewhere that is a good tourist draw that can be more of an event. Like we have a cruise coming up that a couple of our storytellers are going to be joining us. Somewhere in the middle, like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska. Yeah, those are hopping places. Oklahoma, Nebraska, South Dakota. Yeah, hopping places. So, but what I was thinking is something where people will want to go because there's a good event related to fentanyl, but also another draw. Like Disney World would be another draw, or Branson has stuff going on that would be another draw. Vegas has a bunch of other draws.
That would be cool too.
So maybe something like that, and that it would just be a cool way to make ourselves available. Maybe spend a day or two recording interviews and stories, and then just have a big event on the third day or something.
That's a great idea. That's what the NRB.
We would definitely need sponsors for that. The venues in Vegas aren't cheap, and they aren't particularly generous about donating space. And so, okay, so somebody voted. Karma said Nashville. Nashville is such a cool town.
That is
my wife and I were in Nashville a few years ago working on a project for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. It was during COVID, and Nashville seemed to kind of just not care. They still had a good time. It was wonderful. God bless you along your journey.
Thank you.
Okay, let me catch up. Donna, good luck with your journey. 100% love, much love and respect to you, ma'am. And Dees agrees with that, and Mary agrees with that, or Mary agrees with Dees. Karma, I've been to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Holy cow, Karma! I have been to Miami and Fort Lauderdale too. Yeah, getting eaten up with the sarcasm here. Mickey Mouse approved. Nashville, we saw that. Brenda votes for Vegas twice. And Vegas is built for events. So that's a good one. I'll be in Vegas in June for the Coldplay concert, Karma says. All right. Taskmaster asks, who's obviously a supporter for doing this somewhere around Orlando, he's asking if there's any famous mice in Nashville. Brenda tells Karma, Coldplay, I'm peanut butter and jealous. Well,
that's great.
That's a cute expression.
But I'm jealous.
All right, folks. So hmm, this national thing, that could be.
It could be something big. I think you need to really think on it.
Oh yeah, Pat. Sure, sure. Is there enough lodging in Portsmouth, Virginia for a group of people to come there all at once? Like 20 people.
And we need to make this thousands of people. We need to go big or go home.
Okay. Okay. Donnie, you're talking like a volunteer.
Hey, you tell me the place and I'll start finding sponsors and a place. You tell me the location and around about the date. That's all I need.
Let's
I have to
do
stay
Pat.
busy.
That's good, Brenda. That's good. Okay, Mary. Thanks for joining us. Mary's leaving. Love and peace to everyone in the chat. See something, say something, do something. Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't, I don't, I don't care where it is, Nashville or Vegas. Both sound like great
Great.
options.
So now you have to figure out when you're not traveling, when you have a free few days.
Right now, we're pretty clear after March because that's typically how things set up. That right now, April is pretty open, but in a week, that could not be the case. That we've had inquiries from people. We've had inquiries from people in Los Angeles, San Diego, Portland, Oregon,
Oh, wow.
uh, and then there's Pat wanting us to come back to Virginia, and he's frantically working on uh, getting another storytelling summit together there. Uh, and then there's some Massachusetts, the whole New England area, someplace kind of central. So we have a lot more on the schedule. So we're just on the road a lot. That's okay. It's
Hmm.
it's a wonderful adventure to me. And at most stops, my wife is able to fly out and join me because she has a regular job, and so she can't ride with me usually. Sometimes she's able to. She rode with me from Houston to Albuquerque, and then flew home. And a week later, flew out and met me in Phoenix, and then flew home. So. Karma has a good point. Glenn, make sure to double check for Vegas dates due to overpricing during concerts.
Oh,
And I suspect that sort of thing might happen in Nashville a little bit too, because Nashville's kind of a music city.
yeah. A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Coldplay is playing at Allegiant Stadium, which holds 65,000 people, which means all the hotels are priced out. Yeah, it's all about market. It's all about what the market will bear. So if instead everybody got together in Lafayette, Louisiana, that'd be a totally different thing. June 6th and 7th, Karma's saying June 6th and 7th in Vegas because Karma's going to be there anyway. Isn't that
Yes.
convenient?
I know.
I see how it works.
Uh-huh.
All right. All right, folks. I think we've accomplished a lot here tonight. This is let me ask one more thing about this having the storyteller here. It's the first time I've tried this. I've got this weird little second window of me down in the bottom corner bugs me, uh, but how did you like this having having the storyteller join us and able to present some questions to her while we're all live. Should we keep doing this? Is what I'm asking. Yeah, Brenda, you missed the first half. What's up with that? So, and there is the story to watch.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Taskmaster. I didn't know ahead, so I have to watch her story right when she gets done. Well, it's kind of long, so you know.
Well,
So, but if you're a Texas Pictures member, you get to see the whole story without commercials. Not that I'm plugging being a member. We're always looking for new ideas for things we can do for members. And it's just tough. We're busy. We have, like I said before, we have about 40 stories that we've recorded that we haven't edited yet. So we have quite a backlog of work to do. Please continue. The storyteller is comfortable if the storyteller is. Yes, what I was thinking of is doing this kind of arrangement with some of our previous storytellers, like maybe have Megan Ledoux, the mother in Wade's story, join us. And but just there's a couple of hundred. So there's a lot of storytellers, and I think with most of them, if they're willing to sit down and do an interview for a story to be recorded, they'll probably be okay with doing this too.
I thought it was awesome, Glenn. I can't thank you enough. Really and truly. It was really awesome. Not only this, but the story itself. And I'm very thankful.
Well, thank you. So please continue with storytelling. Yes, we're going to keep doing this. I really liked it too. I don't have to carry the whole conversation. I'm going to do more research and see how to make it so that the storyteller can see the chat, and so that I don't have to read the comments, that the storyteller can read the comments directly and respond to them directly.
Yeah, that'd be cool because right now, the entire time I've been looking at your face. But not that it's bad. It's just that I would love to see the comments.
Yeah. She doesn't get to see the comments. I get it. You could have had it open in another window.
I could have had another computer. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, well. His face is plural. Thanks, Taskmaster. That's good. Yeah, I need to work that out too. You're right, Pat. I think this was a perfect story to try this idea on. Start signing them up. Great way to connect.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do that. I'll reach out to I don't know, somebody, and we'll do this again in 2 or 3 days.
Again, I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you too. And Donna, after we close the live event, you and I will still be connected in Google Meet.
Okay.
So you don't need to hang up when the event stops. Very touching and very tough but necessary. Good night, and thank you so much, Glenn and Donna. And chat, that's from V. And
Thank
you. And Mary says, thank you, Glenn and Donna. And I just want to say one more time how grateful I am for you guys who are watching our stories and supporting the channel. It really means a lot. And that's going to be it for now. We're at 59 minutes and 23 seconds. Well, not anymore. 25. No, 26. Okay. And so thanks again. And we will see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Have fun.